Hello everyone, this is part 44 of What If Naruto Had the Ultimate Dojutsu, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Hokage Mansion, 4 days later. Naruto sighed as he rubbed the back of his head. It had been just like he wanted. Konoha had rested all 4 days ago and now the sound of construction was still going on outside. Naturally Naruto, by this time had sent out a message to Suna, Kiri and Kumo for their help in his little predicament. He had also been spreading out clones and taking full advantage of his Mokuton abilities to build wooden houses, and the only one besides him who knew the abilities of the Shodaime were Tenzo. Naruto had also sent out his fox summons to help around. However, there was a problem. Konoha came totally pay all of this off, but no doubt the trading routes are going to pull us down. I doubt any traders would want to be coming here for a while, Naruto said to himself before he heard a short giggle. He looked down and he noticed Yuna looking at her father with her deep blue eyes. Naruto chuckled and gently kissed Yuna's head while she closed her eyes to go to sleep. Seeing her like this, Naruto wondered if his Gigi had held him like it when he was younger. Kasumi was still relatively weak from that day and she was still resting. You are just like your mother. Always sleeping while I handle other stuff, but I guess that's a good thing, Databayo, Naruto thought to himself before he placed Yuna in her cradle next to his desk. To some it would be inside for the Hokage to keep his child so close to him after what had transpired, but for Naruto as well as a few fathers then it was justified. Maybe he was a little too cautious, but in this world that was generally a good thing. As Naruto continued to think over the trade routes as well as Konoha's current standing, he looked out at the village. He could see a very large destroyed section of it where the full parts of construction were going on. How could he open the trade routes? He had remembered from some mail from Gaara a few months ago about his father. He had opened the trade routes of his village through the use of saken, gold dust. However, he was the only one to do that. Iron sand didn't go for much since it could mainly be found in the cold regions of the land of iron. That's one of the things that they had that he couldn't really reciprocate. Ugh. This was turning to S just because of Tsukase's rampage. A knock on the door broke Naruto from his thoughts as he ushered the person with his words. Come in, he said, and the door opened to show Kurenai in her usual clothes. She bowed slightly and came with her arms full of doents while Naruto pinched the bridge of his nose before giving a small smile. All right then. I'll come with you. Just let me check something, Naruto said as he got up to his feet. He walked up to his room and he quickly grabbed Reiga, Sira, Fukun, Tyron and Yugisa. He strapped them to his back and waist while Fukun spoke. Naruto Minasama, there is something that we must tell you. On that night, just before that man left, did you get a glimpse of the person next to him? Fukun asked and Naruto nodded. He had seen the person that Madara was with before his having left the area. It still amazed Naruto, but he was forced to put in the back of his mind for a later date. Yeah, what about him? Naruto asked and everyone fell silent while Naruto narrowed his eyes. They had brought it up and pulled his interest and now they were going to stay silent. What about him? Naruto asked dangerously as everyone released their breath. Well, Naruto Minasama, we are sure, more likely than not, that was Yatara Minasama, or Sato Minasama, if you prefer, Yugisa said, and Naruto's hand twitched over his swords. It was weird, he wasn't like how he was when he took care of my master. No way would he associate with mortals. To him, they are all beneath him. The only one to be like that was the Rikudo Sennin. It's like he was controlled or something, Tyron added before Reiga s the ground in front of him with his fist. Impossible. Sato isn't capable of being controlled. Do you know the training he's gone through? He has one of the toughest minds and toughest wills of the world. He wouldn't be so easily manipulated, Reiga countered while Tyron held his hands up defensively. Reiga realized his outburst and apologized to everyone. Be that as it may, Reiga, no one is incapable of being controlled. It just proves that whoever controls him is very strong. Strong enough to control Kyuubi Minaskin to attack the village, along with Tsukasa, Naruto said while the swords stayed silent. They all glanced to each other before Naruto remembered what he was supposed to be doing and walked down the stairs. He quickly apologized to Fu and Yugito for holding him up and walked out of the door. Border of Hai no Kuni. Kakuku, so they finally found an opening in Konoha's little security. To think that Akatsuki would be so scared of young Naruto Minuskin. He really has become a promising specimen. I really love his dojutsu. However, to think that you and I paired up. It seems that Akatsuki still doesn't trust me, Orochimaru said while his partner glared at him. You would need to be kept an eye on Orochimaru Minasan. However, I don't see why they needed to send you. I would love to simply see up Nanabe Minuskin or Nibi Minuskin with Samehada. How about you just leave one of them to me and just watch? I'd like that, Kisame said with a large grin across his face. Orochimaru chuckled and nodded as the two Akatsuki members continued to make their way towards Konoha. Yeah, the message that Konoha had come under attack from a strange monster had spread through the nations. Iwa had strangely been silent to the ordeal of Konoha, but something might have been planned. Oh, you can trust that I will stay out of your way, Kisame Minasan. Kakuku, maybe I should distract Naruto Minuskin for you. That way you will have one less thing to worry about, Orochimaru said, and Kisame looked at him before a small grin came across his face. Oh, this relationship was going to work out just fine. Back in Konoha, Sasuke quickly ate apart some logs as he watched civilians carry him off. Right behind him was Itachi doing his current job. Nearly every shinobi was out in the streets while Sasuke continued to be next to a clone of Naruto, continually using Mokuton to supply the village with the necessary parts. Most of the shinobi had gotten the civilian section under control with a few of the repairs. Nami no Kuni had come more than 2 days ago to help Naruto for what he and Team 7 had done for their own country. Tazuna had been heading the current buildings, but it was still people who were fine that had their shops open. It seemed that a lot of the restaurants had been untouched, allowing people to at least get bites to eat. Much to Naruto's relief, Tsuki and Ayami were fine as well. Forget fine, they were doing good. Since their building wasn't near where Tsukasa had rampaged, then they were fine. Still being Naruto's favorite place to eat. Hey kid, do you know where Naruto is? Jiraiya asked, hoping to talk to the blonde Hokage while most of the construction was going on. Sasuke turned his head and shook it left and right. No, Naruto's not here right now. In fact, I wonder where the real him is. His clones have been popping up all over the village. What did you need? Sasuke asked while Itachi dropped to the ground next to his brother. The two stared at Jiraiya while he folded his arms. Really, it's only something that I should discuss with Naruto, but since it also deals with Itachi, then I think it's safe to tell you both, Jiraiya said, getting Itachi to narrow his eyes. Sasuke looked between the Sannin and his brother before Jiraiya patted Itachi on the shoulder. Itachi, do you know anything of the leader of Akatsuki? Jiraiya asked, and Itachi closed his eyes for a second before sighing and opening them. While I was in Akatsuki, when all of the members gathered, we had only known him as leader Minasama. I had the opportunity to meet him a few times, and Jiraiya Minasama, I must tell you this. He is stronger than me. By quite a bit actually. That's why we called him leader Minasama. The only person that he ever works with is the only female of the group. A woman named Konan. Itachi and Sasuke glared as they saw Jiraiya widen his eyes while a slight shiver went down his spine, but Itachi ignored it in favor of continuing. I just know that they reside within a village known as Omegakure, which was formerly led by Hanzo, Itachi explained. Jiraiya just stared at the ground for a second. What did you find out? Sasuke asked, asking Itachi's question before the elder Uchiha could get it out of his mouth. Jiraiya then glared at Sasuke and patted him on the shoulder. I would think that whoever attacked this village had another reason behind it. He not only showed the nations that he could do what he did to the Konoha not once, but twice, as well as have us on high alert. Now Akatsuki might manage to get past our defenses. I have no doubt that Naruto could hold his own against 1 or 2 members, but 3 might be a little much. And who knows who'd they be sending for Fu or Yugito. Both might be strong as they are around the Jonin Minus level along with Sasuke and Neji, but against S-Minu's rank shinobi then I don't think they are up to snuff. Especially Fu, as she's not been a Tokubutsu Jonin for very long. So you are worried about either of them being taken? Well, if that's the case, then we could always have Naruto Minasama inform them, Itachi suggested while Jiraiya shrugged his shoulders. I would like nothing more, but the fact of the matter here is that I can't find him right now. No doubt he's trying to think of something to do, Jiraiya returned while the Uchiha brothers closed their eyes. Jiraiya Minasama, there is something that I must tell both you and Sasuke. I know who attacked the village. I didn't say anything about him because I didn't want to get everyone's hopes up in finding him, and even finding him is dangerous in and of itself. I also didn't know if Hokage Minasama would search for him out of interest or out of hate, so I kept quiet on it. The person to be able to control something like that as well as during Yondai Minasama's attack was Madara Uchiha, Itachi whispered, and Jiraiya widened his eyes as did Sasuke. The younger Uchiha balled his fists and sneered. The leader of the Uchiha clan and the Kominus founder of Konohagakure. Why would he try and destroy his own village? Sasuke asked while Itachi shook his head left and right. No Sasuke, you don't understand. While Shodai Minasama and Madara had reached an agreement to stop their war, it still left many Uchiha with hatred for their loss. It's a cycle of the curse within our eyes. He told me that he would bring about the change to the world that had never before been seen. When you came, I had hoped that you would take my eyes, Sasuke. Transplant them with yours and obtain the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan just like Naruto Minasama and Madara Uchiha. Honestly Sasuke, if we're talking like this, then I would have to tell you that Naruto Minasama is most likely the only one who stands a chance against him. His reserves from countless hours of training have given him his Kage Minas level reserves, and let's not factor in Kyuubi to that. Sasuke, there is a reason why Madara was named the strongest Uchiha to ever exist in the world, Itachi said while Sasuke grumbled. But you say that only he and Naruto have activated the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. How is it that Naruto even got the Sharingan in the first place? I know that it has something to do with his Dojutsu, but I never really paid it a mind until now. You think I would, since it's because of that Dojutsu and his hard work that Naruto got this far, Jiraiya said, and Itachi shrugged while Sasuke spoke. I remember. He had his Dojutsu activated during the wave mission 2 years ago, all because of my pathetic mistakes. Still, he said that when Kakashi had checked on him, his Dojutsu was active and he had copied Kakashi's Sharingan. He then trained until he unlocked the 3 Tomo. I then heard from Kiba that on another mission where he was the leader to that mission they were facing an Oto and Iwa group. I didn't know the details, but he activated his Mangekyo there. This was before or after he met you? I think before. Already having Kakashi's Sharingan, then he saved me from your Tsukuyomi. He gained the Mangekyo from you, and possibly over time, his genes realized that having 2 Mangekyo Sharingan fits the requirement of the Uchiha clan, and he gained the eternal Mangekyo. Maybe that's why when I had seen it, it looked kind of like yours, Itachi, in combination with Kakashi's only instead of just that. He also had like several Tomo in each eye, Sasuke said while Jiraiya placed a finger to his chin. He thought over everything before sighing. Well, right now we won't worry about it, but if Itachi's right then I will need to pay a little trip to Omegakure. Hopefully he'll find something of value there, Jiraiya said before he disappeared in a swirl of wind. Itachi and Sasuke glanced to each other and Itachi touched Sasuke's eyes. How are they, Sasuke? Itachi asked, and Sasuke cursed while he rubbed them for a little bit. They still hurt like AB. Mind telling me just what all this training is for, Itachi? Sasuke asked, but Itachi just shook his head with a small smile across his face. Oh, nothing, Sasuke. It's just that if Madara is out there, then you are going to need as much training as you can get. Then when you are done we will both be the other's light, Itachi said, keeping the last part to himself. He then walked off with Sasuke right behind him. With Naruto and the others. Fu, Yugito, and a now awake Kasumi, who had been forced to walk around and exercise by Haku, led Naruto and Hana through the caverns that they had been through, and Naruto took out Raiga to get some light in the tunnels. He didn't know how long they had been walking, but it probably wasn't for very long. Hana had joined them when she saw Fu and Yugito guiding Naruto through the streets. She had offered to come with them along with the Heimaru brothers. Also, when Naruto had asked Hana where Kiba was, she had explained that he was spending the day with Ino and Tenten, which made Naruto laugh. As they continued with Fu making silly faces at Yuna trying to get her to laugh, which did work, Naruto noticed something. Yuna wasn't scared of the dark. Rather, she didn't seem to care for it. Maybe it was because Naruto and Kasumi were there, or she was too concentrated on Fu to do anything. Kasumi kissed Yuna's cheek while the brunette baby yawned and snuggled into her mother's embrace and went back to sleep. So how far is it? Naruto asked as he did have a bit more important things to do. Like setting up the room where he, Kushina, Jiraiya and Fu would be setting up the Fuinjutsu room where he would take off the cage bird seal as well find out that traitor who had allowed Madara to even enter the village in the first place. Well Naruto Minuscule, it shouldn't be very far. In fact, I think we should almost be there. Right guys? Yugito asked and Fu nodded scratching Yuna's cheek playfully while Kasumi nodded as well. That's right, but remember, we were wandering. We didn't know of any specific path, Kasumi said and Naruto sighed with a shake of his head and the three in front of him before they all noticed a large green light. That's it. That's the place Naruto Minuscule, come on. Fu urged as she quickly ran off while Yugito, Kasumi, Naruto and Hana behind her. The ground was a little slippery for them all to suddenly run, but with a quickly slid and jump of her body, Fu quickly jumped out of the cave that they had been in and swiftly moved to the side as Naruto tumbled out. He groaned and rubbed his head before he opened his eyes. It took a moment for him to register, but he saw the large area flowing with green crystals and a rather medium mini-sized spring of water flowing all around them. Whoa, was all Naruto could say as he stood to his feet. Eventually Hana stumbled out also and she looked at the glorious room also. Wow, Hana said after Naruto while Fu, Kasumi and Yugito smiled. It was the same place that they had all seen about a year and 4 months ago. Still quite the same as they had left it. Minusfen did you have the time to? Naruto stopped as Fu, Yugito and Kasumi rubbed the back of their heads. It was a little bit before Tsunade Minasama's HPT or around that time. We had been training, Fu fell through a hole and we followed, Yugito explained while Fu narrowed her eyes. Don't try to cover it Yugito Minasan, that was you. Both me and Kasumi know it, Fu said while Yugito blushed and pouted. Naruto walked through the room and he saw his reflection in one of the crystals. He raised his hand and touched it. It felt, just like regular crystal, but as far as Naruto knew then there wasn't this type of crystal before. Around the walls, Naruto could even see the small remnants of diamonds, rubies, sapphires, pearls, emeralds, and any other kind of fancy earth. He didn't see gold, but he knew why. The properties of earth that compress to make gold weren't very common in Hino Kuni. Which is why the price for gold was rather high in places like Konoha and Kiri while it was low in Iwa and Suna. But still, this was great. This crystal. I swear I've seen it before. I don't know where, but I know I have seen it somewhere, Tyron said drawing everyone's attention to him. What do you mean you've seen it before? I've never seen anything so beautiful before, well at least not without it being on Kami Minasama's clothes, Fukun said while Tyron racked his brain. Something was telling him to remember, but for all his life he couldn't do it. Did it have something to do with his master? He wasn't sure. Don't stress it Tyron. If you remember it then you will remember it. Just try not to kill yourself thinking, Rhaegar advised and Tyron just nodded and sighed as they continued to sit around. Naruto quickly channeled chakra into his fist and brought it back. With heavy shout, he s the crystal in front of him with it sending it flying from the ground and into the wall where it shattered against the wall into hundreds of crystal fragments falling around him. Naruto picked one up and held it to his face. He then looked at his hand and saw that it had twitched only slightly. So it's a very sturdy crystal. Oh yeah, I think I know what my next project is going to be. I might still be working on the Usaten Kekai Genkai, but I think the village would love a Shugyoten Kekai Genkai. Gem release Well if the Yondaime Kazekage can do it then damn it I can too, Naruto thought to himself before he closed his eyes. He raised his hand to attract the metallic materials in the earth and quickly he noticed hundreds of crystals extend from the walls and gravitate towards him. Naruto smiled with a nod. Gems? Yeah that would work. The world loved jewels, especially the ladies. If he had Shizune give these to the merchants and ask for quality then he was sure that if word got around the people would be trading with Konoha in no time. He'd even dare say that it might make for a few stronger alliances. And it only took you 3 till now to tell me this. Naruto asked with a twitching smile while Kasumi and Yugito pushed Fu forward urging her to explain. Naruto wouldn't dare get angry at Kasumi. She just had his child, she made up for this. Yugito just didn't have anything to say. We forgot. Fu asked and Naruto would have facepalmed, but he was better than that. He thought anyway. Yeah, well, that's fine, I guess. Well, I'll leave a clone here and tag this place. Meanwhile, we'll head back up and we'll be doing some things, Naruto told them. Things? Like what? Fu asked, and they only had Naruto's mischievous grin to go on before they disappeared in the Haraishin. With Kyuubi. Kyuubi coughed as she tried to stand thanks to Nanabe's help. The seven-tailed beetle sighed and looked at her sister. Canary, would you just tell him already? You can't keep going like this. What reason would he have to actually go against you? It's not like anything can be done about it now, Nanabe said while she and Kyuubi trudged through the village. Kyuubi would have tried to send a glare to her sister, but that didn't work out so well. With all the mess that is happening right now isn't the time to bring it up, Nana. Besides, why don't you go for it also? Go and see the joys of it all. Then you will know how I feel. You've only been living with us for about 2 years now, Kyuubi said with a loud groan of her delicate voice. Well, excuse me. I swear if I wasn't so patient with most things, ugh. The only reason I haven't jumped at Naruto Minuskin is because of the situation. If it was different, then trust me, you wouldn't have seen him for about 3 days, but Nee's a lot worse. By the way, where is she? Nanabe asked while Kyuubi shrugged her shoulders. Nanabe sighed and shook her head before they both saw a burst of yellow. Hey, Canary Minuskin, Nana Minuskin, what are you doing? Kana Minuskin, what's wrong with you? Naruto asked concerned, and Kyuubi would have tried to straighten up, but right now wasn't the time to even try her bravado. Perfect timing, Naruto Minuskin, could you take Canary to the hospital? The Aburame family said that they wanted to ask why some of their males are frantic about me, so I thought I would go and answer. Have a nice walk, you two, Nanabe said with a small wave and quickly disappeared while Kyuubi shot her a glare. Kyuubi Minuskin, what's wrong? Are you hurt? Was it the fight with Tsukasa? Naruto asked, and Kyuubi shook her head. Please, she was tougher than that altogether. No, it wasn't. Anyway, Naruto Minuskin, I'll be fine. Just let me walk to the hospital, Kyuubi said, but Naruto wouldn't have it. With a small eep from Kyuubi, he disappeared as she popped in his arms. With Fu and Yugito, Kasumi went back home since Yuna's crying might have indicated her hunger, while Fu and Yugito had met up with Kurenai and Shizune. Both showed the crystal to them and Kurenai's eyes beamed. Wow, it's so pretty. You say Naruto Minuskin found this? Kurenai asked, and both Jinchuriki nodded while Shizune took the crystal and looked at it with a smile while it gleamed in the light. And he wants us to try and see if any merchants will take this. Shizune asked while getting Fu and Yugito to nod again. Alright, I'll do it then. I have nothing else to do, what with helping Tsunade Minasama at the hospital. Leave it to me, you guys. I think this will have a valuable price for it, Shizune said with a wide grin as she walked off. Everyone nodded and watched her leave while Kurenai looked left and right. Where is Naruto Minuskin? Kurenai asked, and they shrugged while Kurenai sweet dropped. Che, I lost him again, Kurenai thought to herself before she went off to go and find her Hokage and lover. Back with Naruto and Kyuubi. Naruto hardened his eyes at Kyuubi's form while Kyuubi held a dejected face. She couldn't look Naruto in the eye currently while she placed her shirt back on. The doctor left them alone and Naruto folded his arms. How long? He asked, and Kyuubi muttered something before Naruto told her to speak up. 4 months. Kyuubi increased her voice so Naruto could hear her. The blonde exhaled his breath and furled his hair. When were you going to tell me? He asked, and Kyuubi turned back to him. When things were going to settle down for you. You had so much going on already that I didn't want to bring another problem to you, Kyuubi said before she felt Naruto get up from his seat. He walked over to her and sat on the bed. Kyuubi flinched from the action before Naruto grabbed her head, spun her around, and quickly consumed her lips, getting a surprise from Kyuubi altogether until she sighed and backed away. How could you think it would be a problem? You trained me to take on all things that come my way. You think this is a problem? Nope. Kyuubi Minuskin, I'm so happy. I get another one. Car Minuskin and Bar Minuskin can now spoil 2 instead of 1, Naruto said while Kyuubi looked down to the floor. But having this village already take up most of your time has been rather taxing. You don't need more, prob. MMPH, Kyuubi muffled as Naruto quickly K her again and pushed her to the hospital bed. Oh, it's not a problem, QB Miniskin. In fact, it's a definite plus, Naruto said as his finger trailed the folds of QB's kimono, getting a blush from her face. However, you will have to be punished for keeping such a secret from me, Naruto said, and QB couldn't speak with the lump in her tea while Naruto smiled. Don't worry, I'm sure it's a punishment that you will enjoy, Naruto told her, and QB just stared at her lover incredulously. Kaiten, Neko Enden no Jutsu, Ni shouted as she sent a rushing fire through the waters where she was training and watched it enter a large mountain behind her. The best fire techniques could rival any suit in Jutsu so long as it was hot enough. That's why Nibi was considered, after QB, the best at Kaiten techniques. She was, after all, a monster cat, if the name gave it away. Nibi sighed and brushed her hair. QB's getting some right now. I just know it. Lucky sis. Moo. When is it gonna be my turn, Naruto Miniskin? Nibi shouted in her mind before she felt the presence of over a dozen chakra signatures. She sighed and straightened up. All right, come out, she ordered, and multiple people flinched before they showed themselves. A long list of men and women were in front of her as they had seen the marvelous fire jutsu. They all got to their knees and bowed lowly. Oh great Ni Minasama, please instruct us in the ways of Kaiten Jutsu, they all said in unison, which freaked Nibi out. She turned to her left to see Nanabe shrugging her shoulders at her sister and sighed. So you people want to learn to use better Kaiten techniques, is that right? Nibi asked, and a dozen Konoha shinobi nodded eagerly. Nibi placed a hand on her hips and smiled. She quickly summoned up a chair and sat in it. She folded her arms and propped one leg over the other. Very well, but my teachings are tough, and if you aren't up to snuff then you will be behind, so I'd better not have any fuss, Nibi said before she widened her eyes. Oh no, 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 no. Nibi mentally hollered before she quickly took out a bar of soap and watched her tongue with it. Never, never would she ever do that again. Damn that man. He had actually gotten to her. Ni Minasenpai, what's wrong? Someone asked before Nibi gargled some water and discarded it while wiping her mouth off. No, it's nothing. Now then all of you, attention. Nibi shouted, and every Konoha male and female in the group straightened up. Nibi bit her thumb and the ground, quickly summoning an obstacle course for everyone as it expanded around the lake. This will be your course. You will learn ever crack, bump and trick on it. You will be Kaiten masters when you leave her, or you'll be a burnt crisp at my feet. Understood? Nibi asked out off-commanded, and a chorus of, "Hi," came from everyone. A man quickly raised his hand and quickly spoke, Ni Minasenpai. What is the purpose to this? He didn't get to finish before Nibi interrupted him. Silence. You will not speak until I give you permission. You are no longer Konoha shinobi, you are Ni Minasama's students. And Ni Minasama is about to teach you the pecking order. It goes you, the dirt, the worms inside of the dirt, Ni Minasama's family, the Rikido Senin, Naruto, then Ni Minasama. Now then, to work. Nibi hollered, and the people raced towards the obstacle course while she smiled. Taking the authority a little too far, aren't we? Nanabe asked with a fold of her arms while Nibi smiled. Moo. But I've never gotten to do it before. This is so much fun. I've never had students before. Well, except for Yugi Miniskin, but she's more of me helping a friend than a student. So how is QB feeling? Nibi asked, and Nanabe rolled her eyes. Oh, she should be just fine. Maybe she's even in bliss at this moment, Nanabe hinted while Nibi muttered, lucky, before watching the people attempt her obstacle course. It was going to be a fun rest of the day. Even with the rest of Konoha sort of destroyed. 2 days later. Are you sure you're alright, Naruto Miniskin? We saw the village. It's a mess. We're glad you're not hurt. Man, don't worry your fiancé like that, Mei said, and Naruto just chuckled with a nod of his head. Gaara looked out at the village and glared. It seemed just like his village, or partially like it, when Deodara had attacked. I'm fine, Mei Miniskin. Also Gaara, good to see you, Naruto said while Gaara bowed. The two shook hands before Naruto sat back down. He continued to do his work before Mei placed a finger to his chin. Also, don't think that I forgot what you owed me back in the Chunin exams. I want what is mine, Mr. Hokage, Mei said dangerously while Naruto sweated. Gaara just looked at the two in amusement of their actions. Even so, what was it called? Gaara asked in curiosity. Naruto just sighed and shook his head from the growing headache of the day. Well, people are calling it the ruby. Something of dragon-tailed Bayou. Don't ask me about it. I don't come up with that mess, Naruto said while the Mizukage and Kazekage glanced to each other. Both had sent a few of their shinobi with them to assist in Konoha's restoration, and even Naruto had seen a letter from her that he had sent a few shinobi also. That's why other various villages were around. Ruby, huh. Well, stranger things have been around the world, I suppose. It's still nice to see that your will has not Naruto Uzumaki, Gaara said, and Naruto agreed, even if it was by the mere skin of his teeth. No denying it there, Gaara, when you hit it right, Naruto said while there was a knock on the door. Come in, Naruto said as Gaara and Mei turned around to see Jiraiya coming through the door. He cleared his tea and smiled. Hey brat, I just thought that I'd come, and Jiraiya trailed off as he looked at Mei. He got a devious grin across his face before he inched towards her. Naruto narrowed his eyes before he held his hand out. Immediately a rush of sand trapped Jiraiya's legs while he smiled. Ah, come on Naruto. Let me have some fun, Jiraiya said while Mei shook her head. Gaara just closed his eyes and Naruto used the sand to fling Jiraiya through the ceiling. They watched on while Naruto sat back down. Will he be alright? Mei asked and Naruto nodded. Not even minutes later did Jiraiya come around with a large lump on his head. Very funny brat. But seriously, I have to leave the village. I have to maintain the network now. Can't stay here for too long, Jiraiya said, and Naruto nodded with a wave of his hand. Jiraiya bowed and quickly left while Naruto turned to Gaara. So what are you guys going to do? It's not like I have my fitting accommodations for you, Naruto said before they waved him off. Oh, it's fine. I found a nice, out of the way, hotel. Nothing for me if I can just stay here for a few days, Mei said, and Gaara agreed. A simple week and that would be all it took. Well, alright then. I'll see you guys later then. Naruto asked and the two nodded as Gaara turned to leave. He closed the door and Mei sat in Naruto's lap quickly while she touched his chin. Explanation. Now mister, she said, just daring Naruto to not give her one, but the blonde was sort of the obedient type and he couldn't waste it. Well, I had work to do back at the village. It was really important. So important that I couldn't stay to spend some times with you. I'm sorry, please don't melt me, Naruto said before Mei flicked him in the head and K his lips quickly. Oh, I'm not mad. Trust me, I know the pressures very well. I just would have liked a goodbye is all. That and the promise for some alone time. Is that too bad? Mei asked and Naruto shook his head left and right. That wasn't bad at all. In fact, it was much appreciated. He never really got to see Mei very much due to his duties. He then thought that maybe he should place a Horatian seal for her to place on her room or something. Then he could pop in front time to time. Well, I'm glad for that. Try to enjoy your stay here, Naruto said, and Mei excused herself as she swayed towards the door, giving Naruto a decent view as she closed the door while leaving a lasting wink to him. Naruto gulped and stuttered. Sheesh, these women are all ministrated, Naruto said to himself, but then again he was the same. Point in case, Kyuubi. He however did desire the others. Kurenai's delicate body, Anko's field of experience and her exotic face had turned him on. Mei, Tayuya, Yugao, Nibi, Nanabi, he had wanted them all, but he really wanted Sume. Just to take her and show his mate who was boss, right on that desk in front of him. Oh god, I'm AL. Wait, speaking of God, Naruto wondered to himself before he nodded to himself. He would do it tonight. He just hoped that Kasumi was up for it. Still, Naruto had work to be done and he couldn't afford to slack off anymore. While he wanted to leave it to a clone, he still felt that since he was the Hokage it was his responsibility to tend to all matters big and small, and that included paperwork. However, he had hoped that Tayuya and Kimimaro would do well in their endeavor and that his idea paid off, literally. With Tayuya and Kimimaro, Tayuya growled as the mission that had been assigned to her. Right now, she had Kimimaro were posing as brother and sister while they were in Tanzaku town. No, seriously Kimimaro, what kind of mission is this? We're supposed to sell some kind of jewel and get people interested in it. Some of the rocks in this bag, I have never seen before. How is anyone going to take this Tayuya asked, but Kimimaro just shrugged his shoulders. It was a B-Minu's ranked mission, Tayuya. We'll just have to do our best. Come on, this place isn't far, Kimimaro said, and Tayuya just nodded before they noticed a shop called the Golden Rose. Tayuya would have rolled her eyes at the name. There were no roses that were golden in the least. This was just ridiculous. Tayuya and Kimimaro came into the building and they noticed at least a dozen jewelers sitting around the place examining jewels of all kinds, but they seemed to range from diamonds to pearls to emeralds, and sapphires. There probably were rubies or something stacked in the back or something like that. They didn't really care at the moment. Tayuya and Kimimaro ignored the onlookers at the rather large pouch that the two had in their possession at the moment. They walked through and came up to what seemed to be the head of the store. Yes, may I help you? He asked as Tayuya and Kimimaro glanced towards each other. Tayuya unstrapped the pouch and placed it on the table. Good afternoon, sorry for the disturbance, but my sister and I went exploring in a cave near Konoha and they are our liaison. We heard that you were the best jewelers in the elemental nations and we were wondering if we would be able to sell these, Kimimaro stated as he turned to Tayuya. The redhead Jonin unzipped the pouch as the workers gazed in awe at the number of jewels that fell to the table. They picked up one of each as they looked them over. Oh my, this exquisite design and this amazing toughness. This is unlike a crystal I have ever seen before. It's no emerald. No, it's a lot stronger, much more durable, and yet it still maintains a certain appeal that you can't take your eyes from. Wherever did you find this? The owner asked while the two glanced to each other. Well, we can't tell you that as it's our personal spot. We're just that lucky, Tayuya said with a sudden smirk. The man deflated from that news, but it was easy to tell that they were all ecstatic about it. He then glanced to his left and he widened his eyes as he looked at one of the other jewels. Men, look what we have here. We have 10 black opals, the man said, and the jewelers dropped their things. They looked at rainbow spectacle of rock in their hands while they turned to Kimimaro and Tayuya, who were more than a little befuddled. Minisphere could you have possibly gotten these? These are so rare that even we only have one and it never leaves this place, the man said while Tayuya shrugged. We're just lucky like that. So, how much can we get for that and do you do any trading? Tayuya asked while the men calmed down enough to answer. This was just an incredible find. Nothing else like it. Yes miss, we do handle trading. However, the trading to Konoha has been rather slow as of late. Not many good things except for food, and metals come from that place. Wait, are you saying that you got these from Konoha? He asked incredulously. Tayuya rolled her eyes while Kimimaro nodded. Hi, we have found them in our of the shinobi training grounds, which we cannot tell nor specify if that is alright, Kimimaro making it more like a question than a statement, but the man just nodded eagerly. Of course. You said that you were interested in selling this. He got a nod in return for the question and corrected his glasses. Well then, you have to know how rare it is. Even we can't lower a price for this. If we had to name a price for just these black opals, then 3 million yen for the stones. You won't get an offer like that, the owner said, and Tayuya gulped. T-minus 3 million, how many zeros is that? Tayuya hollered mentally while Kimimaro bowed. We would like to accept your generous offer, but also we would like to know if you could showcase these to merchants. Well, not all of them, as we now see that you like them all, but if you don't mind showing a few and selling them to merchants who buy them, then please do so. We would also like to sign Konoha as our benefactor. Please under the name Naruto Uzumaki Minusnamikas, the Rokudaime Hokage of Konoha, Kimimaro said, and the men nodded their heads. Then we have a partnership. If you sell these jewels to us and no other, then we shall buy them from you and we shall give 20% of what you give us to the merchants. Out of 100% that leaves 80 to be divided between us. What is your price? We wager 40-40, the man said, and Tayuya turned to Kimimaro. He looked at her and shrugged while Tayuya sighed. Hey, we'll be doing most of the digging here for Konoha as well as most of the work in this. For the whole bag, how much is it? Tayuya asked, and the men coughed. Together with the rest of these jewels, then they are around 30 million yen in total. We can fully pay that price, the man said, and Tayuya nodded, feeling just a little light minus-headed. Good, then we make it fair. 50-30 for us, Tayuya said, and the men looked at each other. They had no doubt that not even the land of iron could produce these jewels. It was just too rare. They couldn't very well say no. This might be their last time even seeing them. Fiery woman, aren't you, eh? Very well. Come with me and we will sign the deal, the man said, and Tayuya gave Kimimaro a thumbs up while the fellow Jonin just sighed and shook his head. That went smoothly. Kimimaro went into the back while Tayuya watched the jewels. She picked one up and smiled. You just dug yourself a grave. Women are going to be lining up for your jewels, but then again. You knew that, didn't you? Tayuya asked at nothing before she set the jewel down. Mission complete and no real S to deal with. With Kasumi, nighttime. Kasumi continued to cradle Yuna in her arms while she smiled. Seeing her sleeping form made her heart lighten so much that she could float on a cloud, but for right now she would have to deal with other things. She gently laid Yuna on the pillow of her bed and slept next to her. She closed her eyes and envisioned her own mindscape. Kasumi opened her eyes and noticed the grassy meadow that reflected the serenity of her mind. She looked left and right before she noticed Tsukasa closed up looking at her reflection in the pond. Kasumi exhaled a large amount of air from her mouth and placed a hand on her hip. This self-ministity act had gone on long enough. No way was she going to have one of her friends end up like Sasuke was in his early life because of a damn mistake. So on that note, Kasumi walked over to where Tsukasa was and appeared right behind her. You done feeling sorry for yourself enough to be my friend again? Kasumi asked and Tsukasa hunched her knees up with her hands. It wasn't your fault. I know you were being controlled. Also you were forced out. You've never had a genjutsu casted over you so you couldn't fight it. Stop beating yourself up, Tsukasa. If you don't like it then just do something about it, Kasumi said and Tsukasa turned her head. Oh, like what? What would you have me do while I'm in here? It's not like I have much else to do, Tsukasa said and Kasumi growled before a grin came across her face. She quickly pushed Tsukasa into the water getting a yelp from the light as she descended into the cold, very cold water. In no time, she emerged with a glare. Not funny, Tsukasa said as she climbed out and began to dry her hair. Neither is seeing one of my good friends beating herself up over this. Please Tsukasa, for me and Yuna Minuskin, just don't do this anymore. I want you to talk to me more. I miss my friend, Kasumi said and Tsukasa saw a picture of the sleeping Yuna as she grabbed her mother's hair and snuggled into it. Kasumi, Tsukasa started before Kasumi spoke again. If you don't then, I'll just never be your friend again. I can be stubborn too, Kasumi said and Tsukasa just giggled. She got up to her feet and wrapped Kasumi around her arms. Thank you Kasumi. Alright, I'll try to get past it. If QB can do it then I can too. I'll also get that jerk back for what he did to me. Nobody makes a fool out of me and gets away with it. Tsukasa declared while Kasumi clapped. That's good. Please keep that attitude when we go see Kami Minasama in a few minutes, Kasumi said as she disappeared. Right, Tsukasa would keep that attitude right when they went to see. Oh boy. This is not going to be good. I just know it, Tsukasa said to herself before she stretched and walked around. Kasumi, in the meantime, opened her eyes and gently stroked Yuna's cheek while she got up. Mama will be right back Yuna Minuskin. Sleep soundly baby, Kasumi said with a lasting K to the cheek before she asked for an Inuzuka Yugao to watch Kasumi which the female Anbu happily did. With Naruto and the others. Coming with Naruto and Kasumi were Kyubi, Nanabi, Nibi and Kushina. Sume had decided not to go simply because she was too tired and wanted to rest from the day. Everyone else was more or less intimidated so they decided to stay home also, but they all wanted details which Naruto said that he would provide for them. Alright so, how does this work exactly? Naruto asked and Raiga coughed getting his attention. Alright then, first please place us in a diamond formation. Like this Naruto Minasama, Raiga instructed and Naruto quickly Raiga in the ground first. After him came Fukun and Sira. Lastly and more closely next to each other were Tyron and Yugisa at an angle of each other. Naruto nodded to Kasumi and she stepped forward. She held out her hand and closed her eyes. Ready Tsukasa Minuskin? Kasumi asked and Tsukasa held her mediative posture for a little bit longer. Ready when you are, friend, Tsukasa said and Kasumi grinned happily as her tail wagged left and right. Instantly the white fire poured from her body and broke apart into strings. They attached to each sword and the light intensified as everyone shielded their eyes. Instantly the flash of light faded and they were gone like nothing happened. The Inuzuka couldn't find their scent nor could they sense their chakra. It was just gone. Be safe Naruto Minuskin, Sume said mentally while she turned to see Yugao singing softly to Yuna. Meanwhile, Naruto and the others appeared and the blonde instantly wrapped his arms around his body. Son of AB. Why is it so damn cold? Naruto asked while Kushina shivered also. Kyuubi, Nibi, Nanabi and Kasumi seemed fine for the most part before everyone looked up to see a very large temple-shaped structure. It was massive, easily bigger than Konoha in general. This wasn't even the land of iron. Where was this place? Naruto grabbed his 5 swords while he touched the doors. He looked back at Kasumi and she nodded while the blonde sighed. Here we go, Naruto said as he pushed the door open. Kyuubi hardened her eyes and everyone walked on the amazing floor in front of them. They were no longer cold as a barrier seemed to be erected to keep the structure away from said cold. Naruto motioned for the others to follow him and he noticed that the place was vacant. Magnificent marble or some type of stone. Stainless floors and wonderful ornaments. Something might have told Naruto that he wasn't even in Makai. He just shrugged his shoulders and his group walked through the place. Not a soul around. It was definitely creepy in its own right. They walked up a long flight of stairs and appeared before a large door. Never before have I ever felt so small in my entire life, Naruto said with a gulp before Kyuubi patted Naruto's shoulder. He turned and saw his mother smile while Nanabi and Nibi gave him a thumbs up. Kasumi placed Naruto's hand on the door and nodded. You've earned this right, Naruto Minasama, please do it, Kasumi said and Naruto just nodded. He quickly pushed open the door and walked through. He was Naruto Uzumaki Min USF, Minasnamikas. He ran from no one. If he met Nura here then that bastard had better not try anything. Whether it be Madara, Nura, or the Tsuchikage, Naruto tolerated no s. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.